Hi, Keith. Thanks very much for joining us now, just to give a little bit more colour and explain a bit of background to Titon and a bit about the opportunity. I thought it'd be useful just to begin with, if you could just tell us a little bit about Titon and the markets in which it operates.
Okay, well, morning, Lynn, and delighted to be able to do this with you. Yes, Titon, we've been around for 50 years. We were formed in 1972 by our founder, John Anderson. We've always specialised in the ventilation market, and we're one of the leading UK ventilation companies. You know, we make and sell natural and mechanical ventilation products from our factory in Haverhill. So all of our products, well, the bulk of our products are UK made. We do import some products from abroad in terms of hardware, but yeah, I'm quite happy to claim that we are a UK manufacturer. Our products are made for both the domestic and international markets. In the UK, we supply our trickle vents and hardware into the window and door fabricator market, and our mechanical products we supply into the residential new build market. But we don't distinguish between the two. We're quite comfortable about selling into both sectors, and we've always been set up on that basis, and that's, I'm sure, the basis in which we'll continue going forward. So we have two distinct markets, really. We sell into the house builders on the new build side, and we sell into the window and door fabricators on the hardware side. So that should give you, I hope that gives you a little bit of colour as to what we do.
It does. And just you've with your facility out in Korea as well, your joint venture there, can you just explain that as well?
Yeah, I mean that's not connected to the UK manufacturing or selling business at all. That's a standalone joint venture which we set up nearly 15 years ago, and that manufactures and supplies natural ventilation products just solely for the Korean market. So there's no trading overlap between the two. It's an investment that we hold and that we've benefited from significantly in the past, but it doesn't have any overlap into the UK market in terms of products or selling.
Okay, thanks. So with the sector being, sort of very construction related, tell us a little bit about the sort of the growth opportunities across the sector and what that might mean for you.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting question, actually, Lynn, because of course COVID has shone a light on the whole issue of indoor air quality and the impact that has on health and well-being. And indoor air quality is what Titon is really all about. It is something that we've been pushing as an issue for many years. In fact, from one of the original drafts of the building regulations, which brought in trickle ventilation, was a result of some of the lobbying and the work that Titon did back in the 70s. So indoor air quality is really what we're all about. And when I give you the information that about 90% of our time we spend indoors, you'll understand why indoor air quality is such a key factor for people's health. And this is really a health story, which we've been trying to make. So the growth opportunities is really that the government's strategy on net zero has largely been a fabric first strategy, i.e. fit lots of insulation. And if you fit lots of insulation in those circumstances, it is really important that there's sufficient ventilation included in the property, be it new build or refurbishment, because otherwise you do not have any natural pathways for clean air from outside to come in. So this is really where we see the great opportunities going forward as the net zero program is rolled out. The need for additional ventilation, we believe, and we're committed to this, will rise, and Titon is in a really good position to be able to supply products into that market.
Wonderful market to be in. Great opportunity. So tell us, with that sort of as a backdrop, can you tell us a little bit about Titan's strategy and sort of your aims for the future?
Yeah. Titan's been involved in both the natural ventilation and the mechanical ventilation business for over 15 years together now, and but the market is moving away from natural ventilation, which is what we started with, to more mechanical ventilation products, as a result of this need to improve indoor air quality and make sure that there is sufficient clean air coming in, and that really is the nub of our strategy, over which we've been doing over the last 15-20 years, and will continue to move towards. So our policy, our need is to continue to develop more mechanical ventilation products at the expense of natural ventilation. Yeah, I accept that, and what we're trying to do as part of, through our research and development team, is to develop more mechanical products for the different markets that exist in the UK. And just to give you an idea on that, the whole social housing market is a market that we haven't really been involved with, because our products have really gone into new build. But we've developed a new small fan which is leading in the marketplace, and is credited in the UK product databases, and we're just working on different formulations of that product to suit the social housing market, which is a market we haven't been in before, but is a big market with a large turnover of products refurbishment every single year, and it's one that we're committed to doing, and that is very much part of our strategy going forward. So really, we're trying to expand our business into areas that we haven't been in before, but being selective about it to make sure that we're not competing in the volume end of the market, but we're competing at the value end of the market. Okay. So that's an important part of what we're trying to do. In Europe, I think it's also worth explaining a little bit about how we manage our business in Europe and our strategy going forward there, because we've been very much led by, or we work with our distributors in Europe. We don't have a sales force in individual countries. We have a European sales director, and he's responsible for managing distributors in the dozen or so European countries in which we operate. And one of the tasks there is to continue to improve those relationships and to widen them. And one particular customer that we've been working with for the last 2 or 3 years to get the technology right and the specification right, we're really looking to roll that out in terms of sales into their subsidiaries over the next 3 to 5 years as well. So Europe is also a key part of our strategy to expand our sales, but through a distributor-led channel. So, our aim, which goes alongside the strategy, is to come back to this term indoor air quality, is to improve indoor air quality to sustain health and comfort indoors.
Excellent. And that fits so much into the whole, sort of sustainability, the well-being type agenda of today. Just in terms of sort of your manufacture, is there anything else that you'd add to that in terms of how Titan sort of contributes to, that sustainable world? Your products do anyway, but I'm just sort of interested from a
and that's again, that's that's a really important question, and it's a question that is raised by investors in the context of ESG. Is, does this company make the world a better place? I think it's a really great question, and my answer to that question is that we make and sell products that provide an essential need for every person, which is clean air. And you cannot survive without clean air. You can live without water and without food for a number of days, but if you do not have air, you do not survive longer than about 2 minutes. And if you're breathing dirty air the whole time, then that gives rise to a whole range of respiratory illnesses, allergies, cardiovascular problems that cause significant health issues for a large number of people, and of course also cost the NHS a significant sum of money every single year. And that's just the direct cost of poor health. There is quite a lot of research has gone into this over the years, but one aspect in particular which hasn't been really well documented is it also generates an attainment gap, because if children in particular are subject to these kind of illnesses, then they miss schooling, and that means that then they suffer later on in their lives, having missed a lot of their early education, and that can make a real difference to their prospects going forward. So it's not just the direct health benefits that good indoor air quality and good ventilation provides, it's also those indirect societal costs which we're trying to eliminate. So in terms of sustainability, it goes alongside the net zero drive, which is, we acknowledge is absolutely important, but ventilation and the health aspects sit alongside that and are really important as far as we're concerned.
Okay, thank you. So now just coming on to, you're at an important stage now where you're about to hire a new CEO. And so just interested if you could just sort of share a little bit about what you are looking for that you think Titon needs from their new leader.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's the CEO position. And in terms of what this means, this is the leadership position. We need a team leader and a team builder, because Titon is very much team orientated. We're looking for somebody with strong EQ, with really good listening and interpersonal skills. It's important that they have a manufacturing background, because we are a manufacturer, and that's in our DNA, and it's really important to be able to understand what lies behind the product in terms of what needs to be manufactured and how to get the best out of our facilities. We're looking for somebody with good commercial experience. We live and die by our numbers, and if we're not profitable, then we can't survive for very long without being profitable. So really good commercial skills are important. And we're also looking for somebody who can come into Titon with some vision for our business and to help set the strategy. Now, we're certainly not expecting a new CEO to come in and be able to do that on day one. Of course, it's a team effort, but a leader of the business will be able to guide us and set the strategy for the next 3 to 5 years. So it's very much a rounded individual who's got a really good skill set, but I am going to emphasize the EQ nature of it. It's important to be a team player, and that's clearly something that the board has identified as being a key attribute for the right person.
Right. And just very finally, sort of with that sort of EQ being so important, just with the culture of any organisation is the bedrock. So just give us a bit of an insight to the culture at Titon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I've been at Titon for 11 years now, and I've been amazed and surprised at the length of service of a large number of my colleagues. They're quite often people who go through 30 years. And that says a lot about the culture. It's friendly. It's very much a culture of loyalty to the company. There are a lot of very dedicated employees there who've done a lot of time there, and I think that says it all, really. That people enjoy their time working for Titon. They want Titon to succeed, and working in a team is one of the keys of this. People feel that they're part of the team, and that leads into the culture of being very much team focused, working together, trying to solve problems together, and I think that's really at the core of our culture over the years. People want the business to succeed. They work hard to achieve that, and they enjoy their life. They enjoy their time working for us. And I would echo that from my 11 years there.
Wonderful. Keith, thank you so much. That's a great introduction, and I think it really does bring some colour into the role and the opportunity. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.